Courtney Rich is a cake connoisseur.
And here to help us get into the Halloween spirit is self-taught baker and star of the Cake by Courtney YouTube series, Courtney Rich, y'all. All right.
I loved baking growing up, and it was something I did with my mom and my dad and my family, just being in the kitchen, right? We had so many great memories of my mom showing me how to make pie and Sunday dinners. And so the kitchen just always felt very familiar and comfortable. And so fast forward to me getting married and starting my own family, I wanted to get better in the kitchen. And I married into a family with foodies, which was so fun, really good cooks, even a little bit more gourmet than I was used to. So I would go into the kitchen with Ryan's parents, my husband, his parents, and watch them and try to learn from them. And so by the time then I was about to celebrate my son's first birthday, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do something really special, and I'm going to make him a homemade cake.
Now that first cake was a game-winning combination, peanut butter cake with chocolate frosting.
It was nothing to write home about as far as how it looks or how it looked, but it tasted delicious. And I was like, whoa, okay, homemade cake is a whole nother story here. This was so yummy to eat. It was so yummy or so fun to make, but then I also loved sharing it with all of our friends and family and seeing their reactions. So it filled my cup in so many different ways that after Weston's birthday, I thought, oh, I want to do that again. I want to get back in the kitchen and feel that way.
So that first peanut butter and chocolate birthday cake led to more experimentation and more baking in the kitchen until one day, after some prodding from friends and family, she started a blog and an Instagram page in the hopes of sharing her love for the culinary arts with others. But for Courtney, sharing her baking experiences has become much more than just sharing recipes and decorating tips. It's also helped her through struggles with depression and anxiety.
The biggest change and the biggest impact has been on my mental health and well-being. When I was 19, I started experiencing depression. And it was so foreign to me because I am a glass half full. My parents used to just joke around and say, you're the president of the happy club. And that is who I am by nature. And I love feeling that way. And at 19, I started not feeling that way. And I learned later that it runs in my family and something that never went away. And I kind of just learned to deal with it, manage it, mask it, hide it, the best that I could for many years. And I think around that time that I started that first cake and I craved that good feeling, I was really missing something and I didn't realize it. I can tell you there was a void. There was something missing. As blessed and as grateful as I was for so many wonderful things, there was something still not right. And as I got into the kitchen, I was able to just feel better. I felt light. I felt peace. I felt comfort. And at the time, I didn't really connect it all, right? It just felt good. It just made me feel happy. But it was giving me all these other really great feelings that I identify with the Spirit of Christ, and have been able to recognize that that's where he came to me, was in the kitchen, right? To fill my cup and to help heal me, and help get me through some of the really harder moments, and still does. You know, I wrote a post this morning, and not even intentionally like waking up this morning thinking, oh, I'm going to write a post about depression. But over the weekend, I had a really bad day. And it's tough when you can't control those feelings. And you're like, wait, I want to feel happy. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to tell myself, feel happy and be so grateful and be excited for the day. And you can't. You can't. And it's hard to explain. I know people who have been through it totally get it. But today was a good day. Today I woke up and felt like there was sun on my face, and I was dancing in the kitchen with my kids and using a wooden spoon as my microphone, and just felt so grateful for a day like today versus one that I had the other day, you know, and the days like today that fill my cup to the top. So I'm able to get through the days where my cup feels more half empty than half full. And it's been amazing too on this journey, as I've opened up a little bit more about my experience with depression and anxiety that's also come into the picture. How many other people also experience it, also feel so alone going through it? Because it feels like a hard one to talk about, right? We can talk a lot about a lot of other illnesses and trials that we go through. I've noticed just over the last little bit, as I've started to open up about my experience, there's so many other people that are experiencing it, and we're not alone.
Now, those sorts of experiences are something that Courtney says happen often in the kitchen, and even more so as people rediscovered their love for the kitchen and cooking throughout the course of this pandemic.
It's been so humbling and overwhelming and amazing to talk to women and men through this journey that, have found the same peace and solace and safety in the kitchen making cakes as I have, because it's filled with so much joy for so many reasons. It's the creativity, it's escaping for a moment and just being in the zone and doing something that takes your mind off of the pain and the hurt that you're feeling for whatever reason, and creating something, and then saying to yourself, oh my gosh, look what I just did. Like, I just did that, right? And it could be your first one and look like my first one, which was poofy and it looked round and I didn't know how to scrape it or smooth it or anything, but it was like, I just did that. And you're like high-fiving yourself in the kitchen and doing your happy dance. And it just like, it's this little rush of adrenaline. It feels good and it fills you up, and then you share it. And all of a sudden there's this other layer, totally pun intended. I love that. This other layer to it, that you're sharing what brought you joy, and it's bringing joy to someone else as well. And it's just, there's just nothing better.
And that's all something very special that happens right here in the kitchen.
I believe so much in the power of the kitchen and being together in here. This is my favorite place. This is the place where we do homework, where we do scripture study, where we pray, where we eat, where we laugh, where we cry, where we dance. Like, everything happens right here. And it's because we're together. It's a gathering place. Like, by nature, I think most of us just love food, right? So we're going to gather where there's food. In those moments, that's when we start talking. That's when we start having conversations. That's when we start laughing, and we can sing and we can be silly, all while we're doing these things. And food just brings us together that way. It's just so powerful. And I love it. It did for us growing up, and it does for us now.
Courtney has well over 1 million followers across her social media platforms, and with that reach, she said there have been some pretty special moments over the course of the last year.
Because at the very beginning, especially, we felt so isolated and alone. Being able to connect with someone on social media, this shared interest, and help them feel like there was someone there doing it with them. I've gotten messages from a few husbands whose wives, had babies during this time and were experiencing some postpartum depression, and started doing cake making. Just started, okay, I'm going to try that, and really just loved it. And I got a video actually last night from a husband of a wife making cake, and he just wrote this really sweet message of, how this has become her thing, and she loves being a mom, but she felt lost. And now that she has her new hobby, and for many of us, it's just a hobby. I don't plan to do something with it like I've done. But just to have that, I don't know. It feels so special to just have that little something for yourself that you can call your own. I did get a message from this really sweet mom who just had her 5th miscarriage. She's got 5 earthly angels and 5 heavenly angels. And the other day, she and her husband decided to make a cake together. And their sweet baby that just had passed away it was fairly recent. And she said they made cake, and it was the first time they laughed together since her passing, that they connected and were able to smile and laugh and have a moment. And cake did that.
Courtney says she hopes to get back into teaching in-person cake classes later this year, but in the meantime, she says that she's putting the final touches on her self-published cookbook that she's written with her mother, and that they hope will be out by the end of the year. Until then, she's still baking, and she'll still be sharing her journey on social media, and to top it all off, there's the occasional cake hunt across the valley. We'll have all of her links and even more over on our website at kslnewsradio.com. That about does it for me here this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the rest of your day is filled with sunshine and a slice of cake. For KSL News Radio's Heart of Utah, I'm Colby Walker.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I have long blonde hair, but I still do these things out in the mountains. That's okay. No, for me, it's very spiritual. Like, these mountains are so vast. We're so tiny in comparison. And that's where bold, brave, beautiful came into fruition. And so for me, climbing mountains is this like visual, tangible thing that works. But we all have mountains that we have to climb, right? We all have boldness that we have to live, or bravery that we have to step into. And all of our journeys are beautiful, whatever that is.